Hey there. It says we're live. It says we're live. And I am going to click on one more place because going live on Instagram, which I am also doing, takes a separate click. And I have to wait till the little preview appears. And it did. So I clicked it and we're good. So today I want to talk about the energy of creation. And one of the things you've heard me say like a million times in the context of creating your ultimate life, which is what I'm all about. And, I want to expand that to make sure, at least, that it's clear what I'm talking about. Are you a leader? Yes. The answer is yes, you're a leader. Do you have a leadership position? Yes, you do. What is that leadership position? Well, I don't know. At a minimum, you're a leader of yourself. Next, you might be a leader in a family if you are part of a family unit. You might be a leader in a group, a small group, 2, 5, 10. You might have a tribe. You might have a following on social. You might be a person who works in a company. And even if you don't have direct reports, for lots and lots of years, especially when I had the idea that leadership was only if you had direct reports. Like, you're not a leader until you get made a supervisor or a team lead or a manager or something. Oh, okay, then I'm a leader. Boy, that is so not true. And understanding it wrong is one of the things that prepared me poorly for leadership when I eventually had those positions. And I did, and had many of them over the years, all the way up to C-suite stuff. Here's some things that I wish I'd known. Number one, you're always a leader. Leadership is simply creating a vision and living into that vision. If you have others, that are part of that, you have to be able to articulate, communicate that vision well enough so that you can enroll them in the vision so that they follow you. Now, let's talk about the energy of that creation. Today, as I'm doing this today's Monday. Now, this is Holy Week if you're a Christian, and this is yesterday was Palm Sunday, and we're in a lead up to Easter. Today is Monday. All the jokes that there have been forever. Monday, oh no, the weekend's over, and now at the very horrible beginning of the week, there's that old, now 60-year-old song, Monday, Monday. And, the feeling that Mondays are not good, Monday is whatever, Monday blues, Monday this, that, and the other. Well, Monday's the same as any other day. It's just spelled different. The question is, are you creating your life on this Monday? What is the energy of your creation? So let me give you some examples. If I wake up and I get up and I think, oh, it's Monday, and something's wrong with weekdays because I work for the weekend, then Monday feels heavy. It feels like, oh, I have to do all this stuff. My weekend, my relaxed time is over. And that's how I create my Monday. Got to have 47 cups of coffee. There's a franchise here that I've seen. I didn't see it until I was in Edmonton. I don't know how many cities it's in, but it's called Second Cup. And the idea is your second cup of coffee, right? Your second cup of wake up juice. So wherever you were, you already had your first one, and this is your second cup. What is the energy of your creation? Because you are creating all the time. So am I. And it's only been when I started paying attention to how I'm creating and that I started realizing, wait a minute, I get to control the energy. Now, we've all heard of the word hangry, right? When you're hungry, you can be angry or frustrated. Hangry. Well, that is under my control. I don't need to be hungry. Or if I choose not to eat for some reason, I'm doing an intermittent fast, or I'm fasting because it's Fast Sunday, and I do that sometimes, then I choose to go into it with a positive, creative energy. Now, whether you're looking at this on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or anywhere, I am speaking to you about creating the life of your dreams. If you or LinkedIn and leadership, if you are creating moment to moment, you can't not create. Every thought, every word, every action, every inaction creates the context of your life. What I'm inviting you to do is something that I finally learned after decades of stumbling, is that I get to control the energy of my creation. I get to control the energy that I bring to every conversation. At first, that was, I didn't believe it. And second, it seemed too hard. Like, okay, it might be true, but it's too hard to manage that all the time. I just need to go with the flow. Well, I learned the hard way that just going with the flow didn't allow me to create as powerfully and as well as if I paid attention to the energy of my creation. So here's what I choose to do now, and I offer it as a suggestion. I choose to go into every situation asking, what can I create here? Who can I serve here? How can I help? I have discovered that the energy of creation, the energy of intentional service, the energy of being helpful makes me happier. I enjoy every situation more, literally every conversation more, and I'm more successful. What does successful mean? I'm happier. It means that I get more done. It means that I make more money. I create better relationships, all of the things that make the substance of life worthwhile. One of the things that I fought against for a long time is a lot of shame. I was ashamed or felt guilty or bad about who I was in other areas of my life, or in some areas. I'm wrong. I'm not good enough. So I didn't really want to be open and friendly with people because then I was afraid they'd find out stuff about me that wasn't good. Oh, no. And I felt bad. So then I lived in sort of this contracted bubble. I went to work on eliminating that, so that I live now with nothing that's hidden. I've written books about some of it. I talk a lot about things, even not just old things, new things, who I'm being today, music I'm creating, books I'm writing, joy, what Joy and I are doing, the stuff that's going on in our house, stuff that's going on in my personal life, when I felt, like I can't do stuff, and when I feel energized and good. I made a choice to live in such a way that I could be transparent, that I could be open and sharing all the time. That by itself changed the game. As long as I lived with the idea that I needed to hide, or certain parts about me were not okay, or mistakes that I'd made me bad, and I had a life full of shame and guilt, it was really difficult for me to create powerfully. Oh, I lived and I created and I had jobs and I went to work and did the normal stuff, but it kept me stuck at this sort of mediocre level of enjoyment. And it's funny because I had good jobs and I made good money, but I still had a mediocre level of enjoyment, a mediocre level of joy, because I was creating my life. I made good money, but I was creating my life in this mediocre way. Here's a question for you. What are you hiding? What are you hiding from yourself? What things are there that you don't enjoy in your life, in your behavior, or most importantly, in your thinking about yourself? Here's a challenge for you. If you want to think about the energy with which you're creating your day, I challenge you to listen really carefully to how you talk to yourself all day, just today. Take one day and listen very carefully to every piece of language you use toward yourself. Outside, inside, how are you treating yourself? With indifference, with skate in on that one, with joy, with love, with forgiveness, with loathing, with anger, with fear? How are you treating yourself with just respect to the language you use? It's actually really important, because that is one of the biggest determining factors of the energy you bring to creating your life. You're the architect. So if you're screaming at the architect, you're also the carpenter, the implementer. If you're unhappy with the implementer, if you're saying you don't deserve this, you can't cut it, you're not doing everything you could do or should do. You're not doing that. You can't cut it. You don't, if that's the language, then it shouldn't surprise me if that's how I talk to myself. And it certainly was. It couldn't surprise me that I was creating at a mediocre level. because I was fighting to do things against this whole fog of hiding, of being afraid, of being frustrated, of being mad at myself or ashamed or negative. And that just stacks up and stacks up and stacks up until it's like you almost can't breathe. So there's lots of layers to how you create your life. And we'll talk about those. But right now, today, the one that we're talking about that I encourage you to just dive in with fun and with joy is, how are you talking to yourself? The designer, you are the designer of your life. You're the architect. You're the implementer. You do all the things that there are, right? I don't care what anybody else does. We get to react or create from those externalities. So layer one is, what is the language? What is the language and attitude you have toward yourself as the architect, the implementer of your life? And just listen to that. Is it loving? Is it kind? Is it encouraging? Is it something that you would like to be spoken to you from your coworkers, or if you have a boss, your boss, or, is that, how are you treating yourself in that way? That right there determines the first piece, and there's more, but the energy of your creation, because you're creating, so am I. I'm creating my life consciously or unconsciously, moment to moment, thought to thought, idea to idea. Wow, if I'm creating it, how come I'm not doing a better job? I've asked myself that question a million times, and now I've changed it, because the first fundamental thing is, how am I talking to the worker? Oh, me. How am I talking to the architect? Oh, that would be me. How am I talking to the person providing the energy, the insight, the wisdom? Oh, that would be me. So if I'm treating me in my language negatively, with frustration, with shame, with guilt, with any of that stuff, it's no wonder it's frustrating. It's no wonder it feels heavy. So there's the place to start. We create our lives one moment, 8.64 seconds. And if you want to know what that means, ask me. There's a whole story behind that, and it's kind of fun. You create your life, your wealth, your health, and your joy every day. Let's create a miracle. Let's create the ultimate life. Start today. Here's your challenge: by listening carefully to every word, every thought you direct toward yourself. Is it positive? Is it negative? And just track it. And then we'll go to work on how to change that. Because if I'm constantly negative toward myself, it shows what I believe. I'm worthless. I'm not good enough. I'm powerless. I can't do this. I'm all alone. None of those things are true. But if I talk like they are, then I create the circumstance and outcome of truth. I create the reality of those things. Instead, if I say, you're capable, I forgive you, let's start again, you can do this, you have the ability, let's go get it. If that's my constant language, it doesn't matter if I achieve every goal or not. That environment and energy is more conducive to powerful creation, joy, fun, and a beautiful path to creating your ultimate life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll talk more about the energy of creation.